The house is burning, but we're still sitting in the glow. Phones charged, lights on, pretending we don't know. But the forest is silent, the river's running low, and the flame on our plates is the strongest fire we throw. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is your hour. 7 boundaries broken, the earth pushed past the line. Climate, land, species, fresh water, chemicals, nutrients, oceans in decline. Not danger, disaster in real time. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Metafoodians rise, this is your power. And here in India, one truth stands the same. Milk is not just milk, dairy feeds the flame. Cows and methane, fields and forests turn to grain. Politics, culture, carbon, all wired to the same chain. Every cup of curd is heat in the air, every block of butter is a forest repair. It's not a small habit, it's a planetary affair. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is our hour. Energy fixes half the hurt, Dr. Rao made that clear. But food fixes the other half, the half that's burning here. Change the plate, change the land, change the future's atmosphere. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Metafoodians unite, this is your choir. Every millet, every fruit, every sapseed, every bean is water on the wildfire of a world we've never seen. Every oil-free bite is a river turning clean. This is not perfection, it's direction. Not pressure, but protection. A week of choices can cool a generation. A company's courage can ignite a nation. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is your hour. Metafoodians unite, Metafoodians ignite. Sharing love in the metazone, light in the path to a cooler home. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Together we rise, together we inspire.
Welcome to the Planet B podcast, where truth, transformation, and faith converge. Join us as we flip the script on ecological despair, guided by Dr. Sailesh Rao's vision for a compassionate, rewilded vegan world. Let's begin the journey to the greatest transformation in human history.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Planet B podcast, episode 15, the Vegan Rewilding Solution. Dr. Rao, this is going to be a really good one.
Yes. It puts it all in a nutshell, what is the solution to all our problems? And I start with a quote by Dr. Michael Greger, who said, "We should all be eating fruits and vegetables as if our lives depend on it." Because it does.
Yes, it does.
Collectively, it does. Very much so. and fruits, vegetables, and then grains, nuts, seeds, plant-based foods and whole plant foods should become normalized. And that's the solution to planetary health. It's a solution to human personal health, and it's a solution for sustainability.
The big question, Dr. Rao, is what would happen to our Earth if humanity went vegan?
If humanity went vegan, everyone started eating healthy plant foods. Health becomes normalized as opposed to diseases. And then you will discover that you need far less land to grow our food than we use today. Which means you can return 40% of the land area of the planet back to nature, on which you can restore the original ecosystem that used to be there. It could be mangroves, it could be prairies, it could be the original ecosystems. So forests, mangroves, prairies, anything that was there before, you can restore them. And when you restore that, you give land back to the wild animals. So the wild animal population will start growing again. If you look at the statistics today, of all the mammals on Earth, 36% is human beings in terms of total weight. 60% is all the animals that we raise on farms, and only 4% is wild mammals. Right?
It's unbelievable. It's so crazy.
Now, if you look at just land mammals, it is 37% for human beings, 61% for farmed animals, and only 2% for all the land mammals. It becomes 4% when you include all the whales and the fish put together. Okay, so returning 40% of the land back to nature and not using farmed animals for our food suddenly rebalances the weight of mammals on the planet. We take the 36% that's human beings, and then we don't have the 60% that's land mammals for farming, and then you return 40% of the land, so now the wild mammals can grow back. Okay,
Right.
and especially when you also stop fishing, the mammals in the ocean will also recover. So it addresses the number one planetary boundary transgression, which is the loss of biosphere integrity. Immediately it addresses that. There used to be 5 to 6 trillion trees on the planet, and by chopping down forests and turning that into grazing land, we have cut half the trees on the planet. So there are now only 3 trillion trees. So when you return 40% of the land back to nature, you can restore the 3 trillion trees that you cut. So the number of trees on the planet goes from 3 trillion back to 6 trillion again. And those extra 3 trillion trees that grow will suck up the chemical pollution that's there on the planet. And they will store the chemical pollution in their trunks as they grow. Okay? So it cleans up the second worst planetary boundary transgression, which is novel entities. It literally starts cleaning the planet when you do that. So the vegan rewilding solution has immediately addressed the top two.
Right away.
Right away. Okay? Start sucking it up. And of course you have to stop pouring 220 billion tons of chemical pollution into the environment every year, which we do for mainly because we think that brown toilet paper is no good. It has to be white. Things like that, right? So we do silly things like that in order to pollute the earth. Okay? So a lot of the chemical pollution is unnecessary that we are doing. So we have to rethink all our processes. But the existing pollution gets cleaned up right away with those trees. And the third is nitrogen and phosphorus loading. So that's the third worst planetary boundary transgression. So that's the excess nitrogen that we are taking from the air and converting into fertilizer and pouring it on our land to grow crops. And half the crops, half the grains are being used to feed animals. When you no longer have to grow animals, you don't need all those crops. So I claim that we can cut down at least a quarter of the grains that we're growing. Even if you say I need to use the other extra in order to address world hunger, but you can cut down on the nitrogen and phosphorus use by at least a quarter. So that addresses the third planetary boundary transgression. Then when the trees come back, the trees are going to be sequestering CO2 from the atmosphere. Okay, so you will see the CO2 levels start decreasing in the atmosphere instead of increasing all the time. So when people talk about not burning fossil fuels, they're only talking about not increasing the CO2 level in the atmosphere. They're not talking about decreasing. You cannot decrease the CO2 levels in the atmosphere by installing solar panels and driving electric cars. The only way you can do that is by bringing back the trees to restore the forests on the land. Okay? All of these machines that we do to suck CO2 cost trillions of dollars. And it's unclear what you're going to do with that CO2 after you suck it down. They think it's going to stay down there forever. No, it'll pop up. So, whereas trees can store them forever, okay, if you restore the forest. So it addresses the number 4, climate change as well. Number 5 is land use. That's the 5th planetary boundary transgression. There again, when you return 40% of the land back to nature, you are restoring that. So you are addressing that planetary boundary transgression fundamentally. Number 6 is water use, a freshwater change. By bringing back the forests, you're restoring the freshwater cycles of the planet. You're repairing them. Okay. And the number 7, ocean acidification. Now, ocean is becoming more acidic because there is more CO2 in the atmosphere. And that CO2 dissolves in water and becomes carbonic acid. That's why the ocean is becoming more acidic. Now, when you start reducing the CO2 in the atmosphere, because you brought back the 3 trillion trees that we cut, the ocean will become less acidic. So it addresses number 7 as well. So can you imagine, this one simple change, going vegan and rewilding the planet, addressing all 7 planetary boundary transgressions. And yet people don't want to see it. And I'm saying, hello, what kind of scientist are you if you don't see this as a solution?
One of the most fascinating parts about this too is, Dr. Rao, you're using their data to prove this. It's not, this stuff isn't coming out of thin air. It's not coming from a magic hat. Like, this is data from these organizations. You're
Correct.
Just putting it together and showing it to them.
Correct, yeah. It's IPCC's 5th assessment report and 6th assessment report. That's all I'm using. And using the data in those assessment reports, I'm saying the data is screaming at me to implement the vegan rewilding solution to all 7 planetary boundary transgressions. Okay. Now, Eat Lancet Commission. They have come up with a planetary health diet, which calls for a 50% reduction in the use of animals. Okay, so it's saying cut down on the animal use by 50%, and that will solve all the problems. I don't know, even if you do 100%, whether we can fill all the holes we have already created in the biosphere integrity. Okay, and I don't know if it will restore chemical pollution, if it cleans it up enough for life to thrive. Right now we know that life is on a death spiral. So every 2 years we see that the wild animals are decreasing. This is why these 2 transgressions are in the purple zone. So I don't know, even if we go 100%, if that death spiral will become an upward spiral, filling all the holes in biosphere integrity and cleaning up the chemical pollution to the point where life can thrive. So I don't know how they came up with the 50%. And that too, such a nice round number.
Sounds like they don't want to move away from planet A.
So I asked them, how did you come up with this? In my estimation, I don't know if 100% will also solve the problem. I'm saying we have to do 100% and check it. But if you go and say, I know that 50% will solve all the problems, you better have good models to show that. And you better have models that match reality. And I don't know how they can build models that are that complex, that would match reality of an entire planet, right? How do you create a model that matches how a planet will behave? You can only approximate it. I begin with a position of humility that even with 100%, I don't know. Okay? Because there is nothing that tells me that 100% is enough. I say we have to go 100% and try it out. Okay? And see what else we have to address beyond that. So I'm absolutely not going to put my name on anything that says 50% is enough. As an engineer, I could never do that. I have integrity not to do that, right? And when I asked these authors of the planetary health diet, how did they come up with these numbers? Their answers were unsatisfactory. Okay. Basically, they said that they put it in their model and it seemed to stabilize it. Stabilizing it is not enough. You have to restore it.
With the terminology, stabilizing it would just mean that all of the issues we face today would continue.
Yeah. Things don't get better. They just stay the same. And they'll stay the same according to your model. But are you sure it'll stay the same in reality?
Right.
And then are you going to come back and say, excuse me, it has to be 75%? I said, just put it out there on the table and have some humility, instead of saying, I know it's going to stabilize. It's like putting out a fire. You have to put out the fire completely. You cannot say, I can let half the fire burn.
It's so common sense when you really think of it in that way.
Yeah. And also, when you do 100%, you have to change the entire foundations. So they're saying you don't have to address the foundations. You don't have to address the protein myth. You don't have to address the calcium myth. You don't have to address the growth myth. Right? You just have to decrease it temporarily by 50% and then continue growing. What happens when you continue growing? It'll increase from 50% back to what it was. So it's not well thought out. It's not an engineering solution. It's not done by engineers. It's done by politicians, if you ask me. It is not based on science.
It's exciting because at least we're seeing it. That's step one. Because if no one was seeing it, that would be the biggest problem. But there is people that are seeing it, and then it just takes sharing it with one person, and then before you know it, it spreads around the world.
Absolutely, because when you know there is a solution, and it's also about examining everything that we are doing together. So it's like rebuilding, re-engineering human engineered systems and making them all come into alignment with nature, right? So when you do a comprehensive transformation like that, why wouldn't we want to be part of it? We are in that position. We have to address everything together, right. and not try to retain the colonial remnants.
And I've seen this firsthand where when I share your data with people, immediately you do see a spark. People who do eat meat or they're not moving in this direction yet, but when they understand the data and they see it from the scientific side, it does plant a seed, and that seed can grow very quickly as well.
We have to be very dispassionate when it comes to the science and the data. Share with people exactly what is going on, and that there is a solution, and that solution has to be embraced fully, not half-heartedly.
I know this is maybe redundant at this point, but scientifically and statistically, do you see any other solution besides the vegan lifestyle to address these issues?
I don't see anything that comes close to addressing all 7 planetary boundary transgressions, as well as the social justice issues. I don't see any other solution that comes even close to it. Okay. All these other solutions that people are working on, like are technological solutions that are trying to maintain the system, like a CO2 sucking machine. Well, you addressed CO2, but you didn't address anything else.
Essentially, is that machine just a replacement for a forest? Is
Yeah,
that
it's a
with the
replacement
human?
for trees. Yeah,
It's just shocking. It's like we could just plant the trees.
right. Yeah. But it says that, well, we have to continue eating animals. Therefore, we need more and more land. And let's put a CO2 sucking machine, which is like a compressed tree, right? That stores it in, instead of in the trunks, it stores CO2 in liquid form somewhere.
Yeah.
And you have to use a bunch of fossil fuels to run that machine or solar panels to run that machine. Yeah, that's the kind of solution that people are coming up with, and it doesn't even come close to what the vegan rewilding solution can do. This is why I've been promoting the vegan rewilding solution for all of our environmental and social justice issues for the last, 15 years. I've been talking about this. So the more I study it, the more I'm convinced that this is the only way to go.
All right. And Dr. Rao, I feel you're always very approachable. So if anyone is watching this and they want some of the data, I would just encourage you to reach out to Dr. Rao. I mean, you're always willing to help and you're very graceful with your time. So thank you for that.
Oh, my pleasure. And all the data is already there in the public domain.
Dr. Rao, something that we haven't touched on yet is just what is the significance of not only eating a vegan diet, but actually living a fully vegan lifestyle?
Yeah. So if you say, I'm only going to change my diet, but I'll continue wearing leather shoes, leather jackets, and so on, people are going to raise the animals just to skin them. Okay? So the vegan rewilding solution depends on the fact that you don't use animals for any purpose whatsoever. Only then can you return the land back to nature. If you use animals for their skin, people are going to be raising animals just to get their skin, and therefore that land use dividend doesn't come. It's not there, right? So to get that land use dividend, you have to completely transform our economy from an economy that uses animals to an economy that's based fully on plants. So this is why it is not just an economic transformation, it's also a spiritual transformation. It's also a cultural transformation. It's a complete whole system transformation that needs to happen for us to get that dividend. If you look at the data, our animals are providing us with 190 million tons of food on our plate in terms of dry weight. But our animals are also providing us with 140 million tons of skin and blood and bones for all the other uses, for making glue, for making medicine, for making clothes, for making shoes, and all kinds of things. Right? So there's an entire industrial apparatus that's using the remains of animals for other purposes. And now we also have vegan versions of all of them being built already. So it's about completing that and creating a completely plant-based version of human economy.
Dr. Rao, it's an exciting time to be alive. 2026 is going to be a very exciting year.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to everyone embracing this and moving forward, because we have to do it quickly, right? Nature is telling us, do it quickly. It's like when you discover you have a fire in your home. You don't sit around saying, how long can we sit around until the fire becomes unmanageable? No, you get up and you start putting out the fire as quickly as possible.
Wonderful. So going into the next episode, chapter 16, we'll be looking at the animal agriculture position paper that Dr. Rao wrote, and it takes another look at the data. So very, very clear from a statistical standpoint on why vegan rewilding is the solution Dr. Rao, would you like to share any final words as we close out episode 15?
Yeah, thank you for being with us until now. And we are halfway there. And the rest of the way, it's going to be even more exciting because we're going to explore how this solution impacts every aspect of our lives.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone for joining us. Thank you so much, Dr. Rao, for your time. And we're halfway there. We got a fun half to go.
This has been a podcast from Planet B, where the future sends thank you notes. If you haven't moved here yet, we thank you for visiting.
Sadhana Forest is an attempt to change the culture of the world from a culture that is ignoring climate challenges and social challenges to a culture that is addressing those challenges in a very direct and practical way. Hi, I'm Aviram, the founder of Sadhana Forest. I've been here for 20 years. What is Sadhana Forest? Sadhana Forest is an attempt to act compassionately towards trees, towards water, towards people, towards animals. And all this is done with a lot of thought and intention. We introduce our volunteers to a different way of life in which they can see that ideas can be made into real life. The core values of Sadhana Forest are, I would say, the founding principle is compassion, but the different embodiments of this is veganism, natural learning, having the children in our community learning with us, integrating with us, not separating them, and giving them a chance to be who they want to be, to fulfill their aspirations, and not to be told by us what they have to do and how they have to do it. Collaboration is very important for us, so people work together instead of competing. We never pit people against each other or create situations where there is scarcity. We really believe in abundance of the forest, but also abundance of the human society. You know, we can live in a situation where we don't compete with others, but we work with others and become all better together and do amazing things, which we've been doing for 20 years with this power of collaboration. Gift economy. This is the kindness aspect of compassion, where we try to offer everything that we can for free. So all our trainings, all our visits, visitors come here in their dozens of thousands every year, and they get a free tour. And if they come in a mealtime, they get a free meal. All our training in water conservation, in reforestation are free. When we plant trees, we never charge for the seedlings or for the planting itself. So it's all given from our heart. Veganism is the cherry on the cake, you know, the vegan cherry on the cake, or the cherry on the vegan cake. For me, it's very, very important because it reminds me that all living beings are one and all deserve a beautiful life. They don't deserve to be tied, they don't deserve to be killed, they don't deserve to be abused in any way. This daily reminder with the food helps me, I think, be compassionate towards animals, but also reminds me to be compassionate towards human beings, not just towards animal beings. While we are a vegan organization, we don't try to convert anyone into veganism. It's very important for us that people will know that veganism exists as an option, but not that they have to choose it for themselves unless they want to. Over the last 20 years, Sadhana Forest has grown, I would say, slowly and deeply and organically. It has grown in a way that was healthy, I think, for us as the volunteers and for the organization. Really getting the experience, understanding what we're doing, and building the community of volunteers here in Sadhana Forest in Oroville. And then in 2010 started Sadhana Forest Haiti, where we intervened just after the earthquake. and we're still there after 14 years. We're still there in one of the most difficult places to do this kind of work. And then after a few years, sort of in an accelerated process, after 4 years, we could start another sadhana forest in Samburu in Kenya. And then later 3 centers in Meghalaya in northeast India, and then a center in south of Tamil Nadu in a place called Virudunagar, south of Madurai, the city of Madurai, and then in Kunene region in Namibia. This is our last project, in a way the jewel of the crown. It's a project in a very remote area, very difficult to access. The community is really not used to people coming from the outside, whether Namibians or foreigners, and was very careful, slowly, dissolving this and really, melting together into a beautiful, trustful, strong relationship that I'm sure will last for dozens of years or more. Giving time to these processes of getting to know local communities and really coming with a very pure intention, I think makes a huge difference. And we have improved our ability to listen, to understand deeply what the aspirations of local people, and this deep listening, I think, convinces them that we are really there to work together on their vision and not coming with a sort of a cut and paste idea that we are bringing from some other country to sort of enforce on their land. It has been a long and winding road that led us to places that we never imagined that we would visit. I never imagined in my life that I would meet a tribe like Samburus or like Himbas or like Kasis or Jaintias or Garos. And it's a very enriching experience with huge amount of learning and huge amount of very deep connections. Yeah, I feel very blessed to have been doing this and hope to continue and doing it for many years. I think the impact is many dozens of thousands of people around the world that have stayed in their homes. This is a very, very important impact that Sadhana Forest made. Dozens or maybe more of thousands of people that would have been homeless, jobless in some big city by now, and have stayed in their rural area and are living happy and healthy life. And I think that's, that makes us very happy. In order to start more sadhana forests, we need one simple thing, $1 million checks. We need foundations or people that would support us to start a project like we were supported in Namibia, from start to running, to buy the land, to build all the infrastructure, to drill a borehole, to build a tree nursery. All this has to be done in the beginning, and that's the larger expense, and then to run the project for many, many years. So this is the kind of support we're looking for. Of course, any support is welcome, but in order to start a sadhana forest, we need, let's say, a push that would enable this to happen. And another thing that we need is people. We need people who are really devoted to the environment, devoted to other people, and could, be our team for a very long term. We get a lot of people volunteering with us, but we need more long-term volunteers. We need to build a much bigger team in order to handle the tasks that we want to handle on the scale that we want to do it. I hope that all the people that see this video will feel connected to our mission, will feel that this mission is worthy, this mission of bringing more trees to the world and creating, food security for people who don't have it. I hope that with us, you will connect to those many people around the world that could benefit from this, and together we'll do something extremely meaningful for them. So I call, upon all of you to come to Sadhana Forest and to volunteer with us and to support us and to work together for a better world, practically, cost-effectively, and with lots of love.
Go ahead, Brittany.
So with trees, there's worries about like bringing back trees that they tend to catch on fire. I've heard some reforesting projects happen to do that, especially if they don't do it correctly. So, and it's not just that. There's some other worries with other types of rewilding efforts. Yeah. What do you think we should do to go about with making sure that it's not going to cause problems, even if, and I've heard this happen, even if the trees are native. I have some ideas, but I was wondering, what do you think?
You mean
Like,
some of
should
the
we go the tree route, is what I'm saying, for rewilding, or should we start somewhere else to prevent trees from catching fire?
Well, when the trees are wet, they don't catch fire. So it's how do you create enough abundance of water so that you don't have trees catching fire all the time. I mean, of course, some trees are going to die and some trees are going to, catch fire. It's not, but you have to overwhelm that with more and more trees that you're planting. Right? So bring back the total number of trees until they become a self-sustaining system. Like even in California, when you have wildfires, they all used to be contained in nature. It's only when we went and modified the ecosystem and we started destroying these things that it became wildfires that can grow.
Yeah,
I don't
most
know.
of the issues
hmm?
like with rewilding, you could, as you're saying, a lot of the issues I see are in California. So that's why I know, because I'm here and I
Right.
see the issues. So one of the solutions that my city's done is put in bushes and shrubs, because those actually are more fire resistant than trees,
Mhm.
because trees take up a lot of water. So when you say how do you bring the water, make the water available, it's by not planting too many trees, because the trees require a whole lot of water, and when they drink up a lot of water and cause everything to get dry. So that's why I really feel instead of going like the tree route, you might want to look into the smaller plants route. And also I was thinking more recently about microalgae, because they could absorb hundreds of times more CO2 than trees do, and they're smaller. And not just that, they're not just like not flammable, but they can actually put out fires because they're in water. So
Mhm.
I think trying to reduce the CO2 levels first before even and putting in the smaller plants before putting in the trees is probably going to help with creating a greenery and a buffer to keep the trees from catching fire. Not just that, but having yeah um, the fireproof methods, like putting in algae, maybe tubes around trees.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's like you can't just say, oh, let's just plant trees,
Yeah, no, I don't think that's
because they
what
don't
even
absorb
southern
enough
forests they're
CO2
doing.
and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not just trees, it's the entire ecosystem you have to bring back. Yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Can't be just trees.
right, right. Ray, I don't hear you. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. The topic of planetary boundaries is something I've been excited about for the last 10 years. As soon as I discovered it, I understood it to be a solution to the balancing of environmentalism. That, and it's kind of in retrospect because they were founded in 2009, first proposed in 2009. Before I was really aware of environmentalism as beyond like an armchair environmentalist who just gave money to Greenpeace and go, they know what they're doing. I hope it's my money's being used for good use. And that's, that is a good baseline. I think people should do that if they can't get involved in learning the broad strokes of environmentalism. But everybody here's got to, we're taking time to teach ourselves about it. And I always wonder if there's legitimacy in the argument that climate change advocacy has hijacked environmentalism. It's probably too harsh a language, but it's there. It's the solution that became the silver bullet for environmentalism. And when the planetary boundaries came along, sorry, climate advocates, you are one of nine, and it's a bit of a balancing of our objectives. And I think it's wonderful that the planetary boundaries objectives are the safe living space for humanity. What can be more important than that? Because if your solution is we have to solve climate change, hey, we have urgency, and it's legitimate urgency to solve climate change. But if that's all you're doing, then you're ignoring the rest of the eight. And that is a problem if you're an environmentalist, if you identify as an environmentalist, or even if you don't, your inner environmentalist needs to pay attention to all these things and recognize solutions like veganism that condition humanity to be part of that safe living space for humanity. It's not something that the IPCC does. It's not something that your government's environmental department deals with. It's something that we all deal with. And the planetary boundaries also provide that solution to the, well, let's try to constrain humanity, but there's other people that need development. So because some people need to develop, all development is legitimized? No, it can't be. There needs to be planetary boundaries, and it's the biggest consumers and that are damaging the planet disproportionately. Right. Which also leads into a conversation about doing economics, which it not only improves our environmentalism, it improves our economics. Economics has always been the excuse as to why we had to rape the planet. So I know I put a bunch of things there, address whichever appeals to you.
No, you're right that the planetary boundary framework allowed us to look at a big picture of and in a systematic way. So I thought it was necessary. It's a necessary systems type of discourse that came about because of the planetary boundary framework. And through that lens, we could show that the vegan rewilding solution addresses all of the planetary boundary transgressions and therefore centers it. And it also, and of course, even in the climate change discourse, I was telling them, even for climate change, you have to go vegan first because of the cooling gases that fossil fuels emit, the Faustian bargain that was being ignored, right? So, and, I think the holistic picture that the planetary boundary frameworks brought about also showed that this is there is a lifestyle medicine type solution. This is the vegan rewilding solution. It's a lifestyle medicine for the planet, as opposed to just lifestyle medicine for human beings, right? For each individual human being. So for the planet, the entire civilization has to organize around this solution. And that will be the cure, as opposed to patching up the symptoms.
That's fascinating to me how much these things that are true of individuals are true of humanity as a whole,
Right.
including just finding a maturity in getting past a stage of adolescence where we just rely on our parental figures to make our decisions. And everybody's kind of giving away their agency, and then they go, our government will solve these problems. We have to be part of the problems. We have to take responsibility and agency, and learn to do things that aren't just reacting to our base natures.
Yeah.
Veganism kind of teaches us how to be part of something bigger than ourselves, and make choices that affect everybody, not just ourselves. Counter to prevailing narratives about that the economy is foisted upon us.
Right. Yeah.
An economy first attitude is foisted upon us.
It's also about our maturity as a species. As a species, we are still an infant species because we have been treating the cow as our mother, and and sucking milk from her. Okay, now it is weaning ourselves. We have to stand up on our own legs, not have to depend on the cow, and become more mature as a species and take responsibility for our actions. There is no one coming to put diapers on us anymore. Mother Earth was doing that. Now she's saying, I'm done. So we have to start, taking care of all the waste that we create. It's not an infinite sink for waste, right? So you have to look at all this chemical pollution as, our adolescent phase where Mother Earth was taking care of it. And now we have to clean it up ourselves. And one of the things that wasn't shown in the Sadhana Forest video is that even human waste is recycled there. So they close the loop on everything. Okay. And it's important to do that. It's not about just, putting it in a pipe and sending it out into the ocean or getting it processed somewhere else. And then, and even when you process somewhere else, you take the water, it's full of chemicals, and they leave it out there. And then they take the solid waste and go put it in a landfill. Right? That's what was happening because human waste was toxic. But once you go vegan, then human waste is no longer toxic and can be turned back into soil. We become a herbivore again. Right?
Thank you. I see there's other hands up.
Ram?
Yeah, this is actually a long question, I'm afraid, to ask. But I'm so excited by this. This is probably the most fantastic chapter in your book. What's going on? It's fantastic. What's happening. Yeah, my question is about throughout your work, it seems that you have stressing the point that all our history is actually as it should be. There is no difficulties with it. It's sort of how the Earth has developed. So the Earth, or whoever it is who guided, has done that. But now in the future, in a sense, we could also be confident that the Earth will know the solution, what has to be. Either humanity has to start out and another life have to start. But I think the Earth would probably be very hesitant to do that because it has put so much into our brain, putting this brain out, is a very wonderful thing. So I don't think she wants to let that go.
Yeah.
To let it go. So in that sense, it's a very optimistic way of that the Earth will solve it.
Right.
Could be by just decreasing the humans for an infectious disease or whatever.
Right.
And so what is your perspective on that?
Yeah, the more I study this, the more I see the beauty and the incredible intricacy of the solution that the Earth has been working on. So if you think of it as Mother Earth working on this, through us, and everything makes sense when you do that, then obviously she didn't put all this investment in our species in order to kill us off.
Yeah.
So if we follow, basically now we have been awakened to our true role as the thermostat species of the planet. And when we awaken to that and take responsibility for doing that, she will be helping us. I really think that nature will be supporting us when we do the system transformation. Okay. And even Jared Bishop is confident that if you let nature come back, she can heal very quickly from the mess that's happened. So then, we will feel like we are part of something much larger. There is no difficulty. There is no one to blame. It's not about, redressing historical wrongs. There are no historical wrongs. It's just, let's figure out how to go forward, because we each suffered in our own way. Yeah.
Yeah. And we can let go of so much of what all the books which have been written are sort of only very partial. So
They're all
the
partial
book
histories.
should be the first guide, the Bible, of what to do.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's beautiful.
Thank you, bro. I am grateful that it comes from you. Allison?
Yeah. So this is my favorite chapter so far of your book, There is a Planet B. And I'm interested in discussing some more this E-Lancet diet, sustainable diet, I think it was called, because I agree with you. Not only is 50% not going to reverse our issues, it's only going to stop them from growing more. But also, if we cut our consumption of animal products down by 50%, then what about all the people who are not eating as much as the others? They're going to want to catch up. It doesn't address the underlying issue. So I thought that whole conversation deserved more more of an in-depth conversation. And I wondered if you could explain a little bit more from your perspective, what's wrong with that E-Lancet sustainable diet? Yeah.
First of all, it's not a systems approach. It's not a system solution, because you're saying cut it down by 50%, which means you're not addressing any of the root causes. You're not addressing the foundational myths. You're not because if you address the foundational myths, then you go 100%, because that's,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you're turning foundational myths into foundational truths. You'll go 100% automatically, right? So you're not addressing that. And basically, you're not addressing the systems at all. You're just saying, let's figure out how to cut it down by 50%. Now, how would you do that? Is that through rationing?
Yeah.
Are you going to say to people, you can only have this much? Is that how you do that? Or if you ask for them to voluntarily cut it by 50%, as you point out, someone else is going to increase their consumption because they weren't getting it before. And you're maintaining the myth that it's necessary to eat that in order to thrive. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're maintaining all the myths of the system. And I think that if you keep maintaining the myths of the system, you're only going to get sicker over time. You'll never really solve the problem. Right?
Yes.
So it's like discovering that you have 7 chronic diseases, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, you name it. And knowing that all 7 chronic diseases will be reversed if you just change your lifestyle to a healthy, whole food, plant-based lifestyle. So right?
Yeah.
And choosing instead to cut down your indulgence by half and continue taking pills.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And assuming that your chronic diseases will not get worse than what it is already. But we know that we haven't fully experienced all the heating that we have done. Okay. So
Because
it's
of the
only going to get
sulfur.
worse.
Yeah.
It's
Because of
only
the
going to get
cooling
worse.
gases. Mm.
Not only the cooling gases, the inertia of the ocean. So it's like you turn on water, right? I mean, you put water on a heater and then you turn on the flame. That
Yeah.
flame can make that water boil. But you're measuring the temperature and you're saying, oh, it is not boiling yet. So what's the problem? So it's going to boil soon. So because
Uh-huh.
you've increased that, the heating input. So we
Interesting.
haven't fully experienced all the heating from what we have done, right?
That we've already put into play.
Right.
Mm.
So it's
Yeah.
roughly 0.8 times the watts per square meter. Okay. So 3 watts per square meter is the current heating that we are doing on the planet, which means we should experience 2.4 degrees Celsius at equilibrium. We're not there yet. We're only experiencing 1.5. Okay.
Yes.
So we already caused it to get to an equilibrium of 2.4. Now, if you remove the sulfur dioxide, it goes to 4.9.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Now that 4.9, or I think over 5 now. So let's say 5 watts per square meter. That's going to give you 4 degrees Celsius of warming
Yeah.
today. So today, if you stop burning fossil fuels, the equilibrium increase in temperature will be 4 degrees Celsius on Earth. And we
Yeah.
haven't experienced that, right?
No.
So it's going to take time. So if you just cut it by half, you're not solving the problem, and you haven't fully experienced so you're going to get it in the neck.
Has any place on Earth experienced a 4-degree increase in temperature yet?
I think the Arctic has. Arctic has, I know, at least double of what the average
Of
is.
what it was?
No, of what the average is.
Oh, with
So the
average
average is 1.5, which means the Arctic is at 3 degrees Celsius. Yes, at least 3 degrees Celsius, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's more than that. And the equator is only 0.8 degrees Celsius. So that's how the average is 1.5. So basically, when you take Earth, which is cold in the poles and warmer in the equator, and then you uniformly increase the heating on the Earth by
Yes.
by like 3 watts per square meter, the colder parts are going to heat up faster than the
Yeah,
warmer
okay.
parts. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's why the Arctic and the Antarctic heats up faster than the equator. And so this is why I say the planetary health diet is not a systems. It's not a diet that's thought up by systems thinkers.
Yeah.
It's a political thinkers
Right.
who
Yeah.
came up with that. Yeah.
And I appreciate your additional comments about how it is that when you understand what's going on, then it doesn't make sense to do anything but go vegan because you're not
Yeah.
addressing the issues. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a engineer by the name of William Gibson. He said, when you want to know how things work, really work, study them when they're coming apart. And that's what I've been doing with civilization. Because when it's coming apart, you see all the internal nonsense going on, and then you can figure it out. And that helps us build something that would be more robust going forward. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's obviously what we want. Yes. Something more robust, something that helps us thrive.
Helps us all thrive,
All thrive, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, without these differences that are going on now, right? So if you look at as it's coming apart, you can see the system that's trying to cling is saying, well, only these kinds of people are allowed. Others are not allowed. And then he said, I want that for myself. This, you see all these things going on, which you realize is the pathology of the old system, right?
Yeah.
And we now have to sort of redesign things without those pathologies. But it's only when the pathologies are exposed, you can address them.
Yeah, we're still bickering over who's going to get what versus looking at what we need to do to solve the problem. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
Mhm. Okay, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Toby? Well, you become darker and darker.
Yeah, hello from the dark side. Not really, I'm on planet B. Oh,
Oh,
there we
there you
go.
go.
I think you said in that episode that we might, you're on about grain, we might have to produce just as much grain as what we're producing already. But when we know, I think this is true, that was probably part of my question as well, is that we produce 6 times more food than what we need as well, which is going to waste. So would we actually need to produce just as much grain? Would lower the crop growth as well, wouldn't we? Wouldn't have to produce
Yeah.
as much grain.
See, there is the system currently, the food system, for instance. So every system has an objective function that you're designing it towards. Okay. If you look at the food system today, it's optimized to make sure that the most exotic foods are available for the richest people at any time. So it's for luxury indulgences, is what it's optimized for.
Yeah.
And as a result, you have tremendous waste. So think about like in a restaurant, a restaurant has lots of menu items. And if people don't order them, you have to throw the raw materials away, right? But you have to keep it stocked, otherwise, because just in case somebody orders and he happens to be Elon Musk, he's going to get mad at you for not having that, right? So everybody is concerned about meeting the demands of the customers, especially the richest customers who are willing to pay more, right? So constantly we are keeping these extra things in place, and that is that causes tremendous waste in the food system right at the outset. So if you look at the block diagram of the UN, you'll see 1/3 of the food that comes to our plate is being thrown away. Okay, that's the food waste, right? Okay. Now, between what comes to our plate and what we're extracting from the planet, there is a 6-to-1.
Right.
Okay.
So that's correct. Yeah.
Because most of that is going to feed our animals, not us directly. Right. So if you were to create a vegan food system, which is all about making sure that everyone has adequate nutrition, so that's the main concern of the food system. It's optimized to make sure that everyone has adequate nutrition, and luxury indulgences are secondary optimization criteria. It's not the primary optimization criteria. Then you don't need to extract so much from the planet. Okay, I believe even what we're currently using, 6% should be enough if you take care of the waste.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm assuming 50% more. 9% of the land area of the planet would be definitely enough that we can give 40% back to nature. Right?
Well, you always give the lower bound, don't you?
Right.
So,
Right.
which I see when I do all the research. What you're saying is that's the lowest bound every single time.
Right.
It's usually when they update the data, like you said, it's usually a bit higher. So.
Yeah, this is what systems engineering is about. Is making sure that there is enough of cushion at every stage that we can guarantee that we will meet the objectives that we said we were going to meet.
Yeah. I was watching an episode from what they call Climate Emergency Forum, and I believe you've talked with Paul Beckwith before,
Right.
and anyway, he was on the show, and they were talking about the ice sheets and how I can't remember the name of one of them. It's Doomsday Glacier. And they're thinking about trying to come up with a way to prevent it from melting more. So they're doing these like engineering different things to prevent the hot water from, washing against it and
Right.
breaking it off. But and they say they don't know if we're going to, hit these tipping points or not. These scientists who are working on this.
Right,
Obviously,
right, right.
America's pulled out, but China will be there soon to help with the solution. But yeah, so they don't know, and they don't really say the answer of what to do. They don't talk about veganism or anything like that. But it's scientists who are actually working to stop the ice sheets from melting. Or to,
Correct.
this.
Right. Yeah, it's the Thwaites Glacier. It's basically 1/3 of it is underwater. So it's in the ocean itself. So it can break off. Right. And if it breaks off, it will raise sea levels everywhere. And yeah, it's you don't know when that's going to happen, right? This is like because you see warm water coming there and melting it from below. And it's precariously hanging on to the mainland.
Right. Believable to actually see it, like it's all it's crazy. Yeah.
So reversing it as quickly as possible is the only way out, which is to, I mean, that you have to do that as job one.
Yeah, exactly.
Other things you can do later, but yeah, first to do this right away.
But it's the thing, like you're saying, like the scientists are worried to actually speak out about the problem, like out the solution, sorry, but they must know, but all they can really do is come up with preventative, so to slow it down as much as possible. So they come up with different solutions. And it's pretty sad to see, because there's such intelligent people. But you think they would just agree, like Johann Knockstrom would just agree with
it's I mean, it's getting one or two nations, maybe one or two cities, I mean, a few cities and a few nations to start implementing serious solutions. Okay, which is creating a vegan world in their domain, right? Or at least making vegan food freely available, healthy vegan food freely available in their domain. So this way, you can. It's not about forcing people to eat vegan food, but making it freely available will make them want to eat it. Right? And as they get healthier and they start thinking clearer, then they will start doing it on their own. So you have to create that momentum for this. I mean, this push, you have to ignite this upward spiral. Okay. So yeah, that's why I'm excited about the meeting we had today with Bangladesh people. So we'll see. I really think that Mother Nature, Mother Earth is marshaling all her forces to make this happen over time.
Yeah.
And I'm just going along for the ride. Yeah.
It's amazing to be a part of it right now, to see it all unfold.
Right. Yeah. So if there is any city in Spain, in the UK, in US, that wants to do it, or anywhere in the world, right, that wants to become the first city in which healthy food is freely available to every citizen. It won't take much to do that. So people think it's going to be really expensive. No, it's not. Food Yoga International does it for about 25 cents per meal.
Well, we got plant-based treaties, 2 hubs in Madrid, where I am right now, and they know about climate healers, don't they?
Of course they do. Yeah, of course they do.
So I don't know what I can do. I want to go meet them. I've sent them emails, but I think I need to go in person because they've not replied. But maybe we can pull ourselves together and get this done.
Yeah, we have to get some kind of event where we talk about this as a solution. How do you really solve? How do you really start this process off? Could be, a city takes it up, and a nation takes it up. Maybe it's Bhutan, who knows? Right? But we have to build momentum towards this upward spiral, implementing this vegan rewilding solution.
So America's turning the pyramid upside down now, haven't they?
Correct.
So
So that to me is very symbolic of the planet A, right?
Mm.
You know, in the video, Amit had put the correct pyramid
Mm.
from Bill and Marlene Watsantara, you know, with all the fruits, nuts, grains, legumes,
Mm.
and seeds, and in the pyramid. So you have to show which do you eat more of, which do you eat less of, right? So it's a pyramid. And it turns out to be the exact opposite of the inverted pyramid that the USDA has come up with now. So they even inverted the pyramid. So
I don't believe it. I just researched it. Like I think it was yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, it's literally upside down."
it is upside down. So now planet A has become upside down, and planet B is the right side up. Right.
Brilliant.
And I
Well,
think Brittany actually had she edited the graphic to say, here, don't take this from the inverted pyramid. This is a no, this is a yes. And that's the right way to teach people. Nancy is right. She says the fact that the government is telling you to eat more animal meat and dairy is proof that these are bad for you. If the government is telling you to do something, it's bad for you. Yeah. Go ahead, Brittany.
I don't think I got really a full answer, and I think it's due to me not asking a full question. But I do see that there might be potential pitfalls along the way for vegan rewilding, not just with trees, but also I've seen a lot of it's in California, like water rights or um, greenwashing with biochar. And so, how do we address these pitfalls through prevention,
Yeah.
finding resolutions, and everything like that? Because it's going to come up, and it might get people to hesitant towards vegan rewilding, everything like that.
I didn't understand your question properly. So you're saying vegan rewilding is, I mean, it's just a umbrella term to talk about a solution. And I'm asking for a system level solution that addresses all of these issues eventually, right? So
Yes, like there might be issues that come up along the way, even with our best efforts, because there's changes. So you're going from something that is way out of nature towards it, and along the way, there's probably going to be challenges, just like
correct.
going vegan
Correct.
is met with challenges because you have some idea that works, but then you put it into reality, and then it's something different where you think it's a solution, then it creates more problems than before, and then people
Right.
want to maintain the status quo. It's like, how do we address these problems either before they occur or while they occur for vegan rewilding?
Right. Now, good question. I mean, we see that in the vegan transformation also. People say, well, I tried it and it didn't work, so I went back. No, they don't try to understand why it didn't work. So it's the why is the most important part. So once we all agree that we need to do this because we want a living planet, then we figure out the how. There are going to be challenges in the how. There are going to be challenges that, something didn't quite work out and therefore you have to modify what you're doing. I mean, because you're not going to be able to anticipate everything right from the outset. right? So we need the cooperation of people. So we need to have this really good public relations effort going on with the solution as it's implemented. The good example is the Delhi Metro project, where the project organizers made sure that they informed the public about everything that they're doing. It was all open source in that sense. And if anything happened, they would go and, first apologize if necessary if something went wrong, and then figure out how to fix it so that people knew that this project, if anything happens, they are going to be open about it. They're going to come and talk about it. They're going to explain what happened, and they're going to keep us informed. So when they have that trust, then they let you, even though you're making some mistakes along the way, they let you continue. They still support you. Okay? So that kind of good public relations is absolutely necessary for a good project to be implemented on this scale. Go ahead, Allison.
I was wondering, Dr. Rao, was there anything else you'd like to say about the vegan rewilding solution here today in conclusion?
I think I'm done.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. It's so important. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this podcast will be replayed again this evening. And so please come back again tomorrow. So as we go through the details of the solutions.
I'll be there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rao.
The house is burning, but we're still sitting in the glow. Phones charged, lights on, pretending we don't know. But the forest is silent, the river's running low, and the flame on our plates is the strongest fire we throw. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is your hour. 7 boundaries broken, the earth pushed past the line. Climate, land, species, fresh water, chemicals, nutrients, oceans in decline. Not danger, disaster in real time. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Metafudians rise, this is your power. And here in India, one truth stands the same. Milk is not just milk, dairy feeds the flame. Cows and methane, fields and forests turn to grain. Politics, culture, carbon, all wired to the same chain. Every cup of curd is heat in the air. Every block of butter is a forest repair. It's not a small habit, it's a planetary affair. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is our hour. Energy fixes half the hurt, Dr. Rao made that clear. But food fixes the other half, the half that's burning here. Change Change the plate, change the land, change the future's atmosphere. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Metafoodians unite, this is your choir. Every millet, every fruit, every sapseed, every bean is water on the wildfire of a world we've never seen. Every oil-free bite is a river turning clean. This is not perfection, it's direction. Not pressure, but protection. A week of choices can cool a generation. A company's courage can ignite a nation. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is your hour. Metafoodians unite, Metafoodians ignite, sharing love in the meta zone, light in the path to a cooler